Far away in the Andromeda sector, on the edge of known space, there was a small outpost. This outpost was a place where many different kinds of people lived and worked together. Humans, aliens, and travelers from many worlds called this place home for a time. It was not a large place, but it was important. The outpost helped explorers rest, heal, and prepare for new journeys. One day, a small ship flew towards the outpost. The ship was fast but showed signs of damage. Inside, a man named Tom sat quietly. Tom was a pilot and explorer from Earth. He had been on a difficult mission far beyond the usual space routes. His ship was hit by a meteor shower, and he had been injured while trying to keep the ship safe. His leg hurt badly, and he was tired. When the ship landed, the outpost crew rushed to help. They lifted Tom carefully and took him inside the medical bay. The medical bay was clean and filled with many strange machines. The walls glowed softly with blue and green light. Tom could smell fresh herbs and feel calm music playing quietly. This place was different from any hospital on Earth, but it felt safe. In the corner of the room stood Zara. She was the outpost healer. Zara was not human. She came from a planet far from Earth. Her skin was light purple, and her eyes were bright like shining stars. She moved with gentle steps and calm energy. Zara was known for her skill and kindness. She used both technology and natural methods to heal. People said her touch could calm any pain. Zara looked at Tom carefully. His face was pale, and he seemed tired. She could see he had been through a lot. She spoke softly to him, but Tom did not understand her words at first. She smiled kindly and showed him her hands, moving them slowly to show she would help. Tom nodded, feeling hope. The outpost doctor gave Zara information about Tom's injuries. His leg was hurt by sharp debris, and he had a small cut on his forehead. Zara prepared her healing tools. She had a small device that sent gentle light beams to help close wounds. She also had fresh herbs from her home, known to reduce pain and help healing faster. As Zara began to work, Tom watched her carefully. He saw how focused she was. Her hands moved slowly and carefully over his leg. The light from her device was soft, almost like the glow of fireflies. Tom felt the pain start to ease. He closed his eyes for a moment and breathed deeply. After a while, Zara stopped and looked at Tom. She smiled and gave a small nod. Tom smiled back, feeling grateful. He said a simple word, "Thank you," in English. Zara repeated the words, slowly, trying to learn. Tom smiled wider. This small moment made him feel connected. While Tom rested, Zara stayed near. She wanted to learn more about this human. She asked with simple signs if he was okay and if he needed anything. Tom used gestures to show he was hungry. Zara left the room quickly and returned with fresh fruit from Earth and a warm drink made from her planet's herbs. Tom tasted the drink and smiled. "It was strange but good," he said. "Good." Zara smiled too. This small kindness made the room feel warmer. Outside the window, the stars shone brightly. The outpost was quiet but alive. Many species passed through, but here, in this moment, it was just Tom and Zara, two strangers from different worlds beginning to understand each other. Tom looked at Zara and said slowly, "You, healer?" Zara nodded and pointed to herself. Then to him, "Tom," he said, giving his name. Zara repeated it, "Tom." She tried his name again and again, smiling each time. Tom laughed softly, feeling happy. Time passed. The pain in Tom's leg grew less each hour. Zara checked carefully. She showed Tom how to move his leg gently. Tom followed her instructions, feeling the muscles get stronger. The outpost had many people working, but Zara's attention never left Tom. She asked others quietly about his mission. Tom told her in short words that he was exploring new space routes. He wanted to find new places for humans to live and work. Zara listened with interest. She loved stories about stars and far places. One evening, after Tom had rested for many hours, Zara invited him to sit by a window that looked out into space. The stars were brighter than anything Tom had seen on Earth. He looked at the sky and then at Zara. He said, "Beautiful." Zara smiled wide, feeling warmth inside. Tom wanted to say more, but his English was simple. Zara wished she could speak better too, but words were not always needed. They shared the silence, watching the stars together. Suddenly, the outpost's alarm sounded. A message came from the control room. Something was coming from deep space. The outpost needed all hands ready. Tom felt a rush of energy, even though he was hurt. He wanted to help. Zara looked at him with concern but also trust. She said, "Rest." Tom shook his head, wanting to be part of the team. Zara smiled and nodded. "Soon," she said softly. That night, Tom dreamed of stars and flying ships. He dreamed of meeting more beings like Zara. He dreamed of the future, where humans and aliens worked together in peace. Zara watched him sleep and thought about how rare it was to meet someone like Tom. Someone brave and kind. She hoped she could help him not just heal his body, but also find happiness. In this small outpost, at the edge of the galaxy, two lives had begun to connect. Their story was just starting, and the universe held many adventures ahead. The next morning, sunlight filtered softly through the large windows of the outpost's medical bay. The room was calm and quiet. Tom was awake and feeling better than before. His legs still hurt a little, but the pain was much less. Zara was already preparing the healing tools for the day. She wanted to help Tom get stronger. Tom looked at Zara as she moved around. She had a gentle way of doing everything. Her hands were steady and kind. Tom tried to speak, but his voice was weak. Zara smiled encouragingly and nodded for him to rest. Zara started by cleaning the wound on Tom's leg. She used a smooth cloth and warm liquid that smelled like fresh flowers. Tom watched closely. The wound was small but deep, and Zara was very careful. She used her glowing device to shine soft light on the injury. The light was cool and relaxing. Tom could feel the healing working inside him after the light treatment. Zara took out a small jar filled with green leaves. She crushed the leaves with her fingers and made a paste. The smell was fresh and calming. She gently put the paste on the wound and wrapped it with a thin cloth that looked like silk. Zara explained through gestures that the paste would help the skin grow back quickly and stop pain. Tom smiled and gave a thumbs up. He wanted to say more, but his throat was dry. Zara handed him a cup with a sweet liquid from her world. Tom drank slowly and felt the warmth spread inside him. He nodded and smiled again. While Zara worked, Tom looked around the room. There were many strange tools and bottles with colorful liquids. Some machines made soft sounds like breathing. Tom was curious. He asked Zara with his hands, "What is this?" Pointing to a round machine that looked like a small sun. Zara laughed softly. She touched the machine and then touched Tom's chest. She made a sound that meant heart and then pointed to the machine. Tom understood. It was a heart monitor, a device to check if he was healthy. Tom felt proud. His heart was strong even after the accident. Zara's calm voice and kind smile made Tom feel safe. He wanted to learn about her world and her healing ways. Zara was happy to teach. She showed him herbs, crystals, and special stones. Each had a use for healing or calming pain. Over the next few days, Tom and Zara spent many hours together. Tom's English grew better as Zara taught him new words. Zara learned some words from Tom too. Their simple talks brought them closer. One day, Tom tried to stand with Zara's help. His leg was still weak, but he wanted to move. Zara held his arm and guided him. Step by step, Tom walked across the room. The effort made him smile and feel strong inside. Zara's smile was even brighter. The outpost crew watched this with hope. Tom was a symbol of courage. Zara's healing was a sign of friendship between humans and aliens. Together, they showed how different beings could help each other. During one quiet moment, Tom asked Zara about her planet. He used his hands to show space and stars. Zara's eyes shone as she talked about her home. Her planet had glowing forests, tall trees that shine like lanterns at night. There were floating cities that moved slowly across the sky. The air smelled sweet with flowers Tom had never seen. Tom listened carefully. He imagined the glowing trees and floating cities. He wished he could visit one day. Zara smiled, happy to share her world. Zara asked Tom about Earth. He told her about oceans that stretched far and mountains that touched the sky. He spoke about green forests and blue skies. Zara loved these pictures. She had never seen Earth, but she felt connected through Tom's stories. The time passed quickly. Tom's leg healed more each day. Zara showed him exercises to make the muscles strong. They worked together, laughed, and shared simple meals in the outpost's dining hall. One evening, Tom looked at Zara and said, "You help good." Zara smiled and said slowly, "Thank you, Tom." They shared a quiet moment, feeling something new growing between them. Suddenly, the outpost alarm rang again. A message came from the control room. A nearby ship had sent a distress signal. Zara and Tom prepared quickly. Zara packed healing supplies, and Tom helped ready the rescue ship. The outpost team moved fast. Tom felt ready, even though he was not fully healed. He wanted to be part of the rescue. Zara worried but trusted him. She said softly, "Be careful." Tom smiled and nodded. He promised to return safely. As he flew the rescue ship, Tom thought of Zara's smile and gentle hands. He knew their story was just beginning. Together, they could face many challenges. Together, they could make a difference. The night sky above the outpost was clear and bright. Stars glittered like tiny diamonds across the dark canvas of space. The air was calm and cool. Tom and Zara sat quietly by a large window in the common room. The window looked out into the vast universe, and they could see distant planets and sparkling lights from other ships passing by. Tom rested his leg on a soft chair. It still felt weak, but he was proud of how far he had come. Zara sat next to him, her eyes reflecting the stars outside. The quiet between them was peaceful. They did not need many words. Sometimes the universe spoke in silence. Tom broke the quiet first. He pointed at the stars and then to himself. He tried to say, "Earth." His voice was soft but full of pride. Zara smiled and repeated the word carefully. Then she pointed at the sky and said something in her language. Tom could not understand the words, but he liked the sound. It was musical and soft. Zara touched her chest and then pointed at the stars. She wanted Tom to know her home was among those stars. She told him her planet's name slowly, Vela. Tom repeated it and smiled. "Vela," he said. They wanted to share their worlds. Tom spoke about Earth's oceans. He made waves with his hands and said, "Water." Zara nodded and made the sound aqua, which was a word she had learned from another human. Tom laughed and repeated it. Words were simple, but they built bridges. Tom told Zara about the green forest on Earth. He made a tree shape with his arms and said, "Trees." Zara's eyes lit up. She told him about her glowing forest on Vela. She moved her fingers like shining lights dancing in the air. Zara told stories of the floating cities on her planet. She described buildings that floated gently like clouds. Tom imagined a city moving slowly in the sky, with people walking on soft clouds. He smiled, amazed by the thought. Tom wanted to share more. He spoke of tall mountains that touched the sky and animals that lived in the wild. Zara listened closely. She loved these stories. They felt like a dream from a far world. Zara showed Tom some small glowing stones from her planet. They shone softly in the dim light. She gave one to Tom as a gift. He held it carefully and smiled. It was warm in his hand, like a tiny piece of Vela. In return, Tom gave Zara a small photo from Earth. It was a picture of a calm lake surrounded by trees. The water was still and clear. Zara looked at it with wonder. She placed the photo next to the glowing stone. Together, they made a beautiful pair. As the night deepened, Tom and Zara talked about their families and hopes for the future. Tom spoke of Earth's busy cities and kind people. Zara told of her peaceful villages where everyone cared for each other. They found comfort in each other's words, even though their worlds were different. They shared the same dreams. They wished for peace, friendship, and a future where all beings could live together. The outpost was quiet around them. Other travelers had gone to their rooms or ships. But Tom and Zara stayed by the window, lost in their own small universe. Suddenly, Tom pointed at a bright star and said, "Home." Zara understood. She reached out and gently touched his hand. Their fingers met, and a warm feeling spread through both of them. They smiled shyly. It was a small moment, but full of meaning. Two strangers from different galaxies found a connection that no distance could break. Tom looked at Zara and said softly, "Beautiful." Zara's cheeks turned a light shade of purple, and she smiled widely. She felt happy and shy at the same time. The stars outside seemed to shine even brighter, as if they celebrated this new friendship. Before they parted for the night, Zara taught Tom a word from her language that meant friend. Tom practiced it carefully, and they laughed together. It was a small but powerful bond. Tom rested that night with a full heart. He dreamed of stars, glowing forests, and floating cities. He dreamed of new adventures with Zara by his side. Zara closed her eyes and thought of Earth's oceans and trees. She dreamed of traveling there someday. She felt grateful for this chance to meet someone who saw her not just as a healer, but as a friend. The next day, they would face new challenges. But under the stars, they found hope that in the vast universe, two different lives could come together and shine as one. The morning sun rose slowly over the outpost, casting warm light across the buildings. The quiet of the night was gone. People moved quickly through the halls. There was a sense of urgency in the air, the calm that had filled the outpost for days was breaking. Tom was still getting stronger. His leg was better, but he was careful as he walked through the corridors. Zara walked beside him, carrying a small bag filled with medical supplies. Her eyes were calm, but Tom could see the worry behind them. Suddenly, the outpost alarm rang loudly. The sound echoed through every room. Lights flashed red and blue. People rushed to their stations. Tom's heart beat faster. Zara tightened her grip on the medical bag. A voice came over the loudspeaker. It was the outpost commander. "Attention all crew," the voice said clearly. "A nearby research ship has sent a distress signal. They are trapped inside a dangerous space storm. We must act quickly to help." Tom's eyes met Zara's. Without words, they both understood. This was the moment to work together. Tom wanted to help with the rescue. Zara needed to be ready to treat any injured people. Tom moved fast, even with his weak leg. He headed to the rescue ship dock. He knew the ship well. It was a small craft, but fast and strong. The engines waited, ready for the call. Zara followed him to the medical bay. She began to prepare for the arrival of injured crew members. She laid out bandages, healing herbs, and her glowing light device. Her hands worked quickly but carefully. Back at the dock, Tom climbed into the rescue ship. The control panels lit up with blue and green lights. He ran a quick check. Everything was ready. The ship's engines hummed softly, ready to fly. Tom took a deep breath and looked out the window. The stars were bright, but clouds of space dust glowed ahead. The storm was near. The ship's sensors showed strong energy waves and shifting debris. He pressed the controls and the ship lifted from the dock. Tom flew through the outpost, past the tall communication towers, and out into space. The stars disappeared as the storm's dark clouds grew closer. Inside the storm, the world was strange and wild. Bright flashes of light danced across the ship's windows. Debris floated like dangerous islands. The ship shook with strong winds and energy. Tom focused. He moved carefully through the storm, using every skill he had. He thought of Zara and the people waiting for help. He knew they depended on him. Suddenly, the distress signal's location appeared on the ship's screen. The trapped research ship was caught in a strong gravity field, unable to move. Tom flew closer, careful not to hit the floating debris. The trapped ship's lights flickered weakly. Tom contacted them through the radio. "This is Rescue Ship Alpha. We are coming for you," he said clearly. A weak voice answered. "Thank you. Please hurry. We have injured crew." Tom felt a surge of hope. He positioned the rescue ship close and lowered a docking arm. The two ships connected with a soft click. Inside the trapped ship, the scene was tense. Crew members moved slowly, some helped by others. The storm had caused injuries and damage. Tom and Zara's medical supplies were needed immediately. Tom helped bring the injured crew to the rescue ship. Zara's medical kit was ready. Tom contacted the outpost. "We have them, returning now." Back at the outpost, Zara waited anxiously. When the rescue ship docked, she rushed to help. The injured were tired but grateful. Zara's healing hands worked fast. She used her light device to close wounds and calm pain. The crew members looked amazed at Zara's skill. They smiled as their pain eased. Tom stood nearby, proud of Zara and the team, after the last person was treated. Tom and Zara finally spoke. Tom said, "You are amazing, Zara. Your healing saved many." Zara smiled but said, "We saved each other." The danger had brought them closer. They learned how strong they were when working together. Later, Tom sat by the window again, looking at the stars. Zara joined him quietly. The storm was over. The outpost was safe. Tom turned to Zara and said softly, "Thank you for trusting me." Zara looked into Tom's eyes and replied, "Thank you for being brave." They shared a moment of peace, too. Lives from different worlds, connected by courage and care. The universe was full of dangers, but also full of hope. Together, Tom and Zara were ready to face whatever came next. The outpost was buzzing with activity after the storm. People were busy checking equipment and repairing damage. Tom stood near the rescue ship, ready for the next mission. His leg was stronger, but he still felt a little tired. The recent rescue had left him more determined than ever. Zara came to the dock carrying a bag of medical supplies. She smiled at Tom, her eyes shining with pride and hope. Tom returned the smile. He felt lucky to have her support. Together, they made a strong team. The alarm rang again. This time, the message was clear. Another ship was in danger, stuck near an asteroid field filled with sharp rocks and dangerous energy waves. The crew needed rescue and medical help. Tom took a deep breath and climbed into the rescue ship. Zara packed her healing kit quickly and prepared to join him. The outpost commander spoke to Tom through the radio. "Be careful out there. The asteroid field is very dangerous." Tom nodded, even though the commander could not see him. He checked the ship's controls and started the engines. The ship lifted from the dock smoothly and flew out into space. The journey to the asteroid field was tense. The ship moved slowly through floating rocks, each one large enough to damage the ship if it hit. Tom used all his skills to avoid the dangerous debris. The ship shook many times, but Tom stayed calm and focused. Zara watched the ship's instruments closely. She helped Tom by giving directions and reading the scanner data. Their teamwork was perfect. They knew they had to reach the stranded ship quickly. Suddenly, a loud alarm sounded. The ship's sensors detected a strong energy wave moving fast toward them. Tom pushed the controls to avoid the wave. The ship tilted and shook, but it did not crash. Tom's heart beat fast, but he stayed steady. After the wave passed, Tom saw the stranded ship ahead. It was small and badly damaged. The ship's lights flickered, and smoke rose from its engines. Tom radioed the ship. "This is Rescue Ship Alpha. We are here to help. Prepare to dock." A weak voice answered, "Thank you. We have injured crew and limited power." Tom moved the rescue ship closer, careful not to hit any asteroids. The docking arms connected smoothly. Inside the stranded ship, the crew looked tired and worried. Some were hurt, and others helped them move carefully. Tom and Zara worked fast. Tom helped carry injured crew members to the rescue ship. Zara used her healing tools to treat cuts, bruises, and pain. Her glowing light device worked like magic. The crew's faces changed from fear to relief as Zara healed them. One crew member, a young woman named Mira, smiled at Zara and said, "You are amazing. Thank you for saving us." Zara smiled back and said softly, "I'm happy to help." Tom watched this and felt proud. He looked at Zara with admiration. She was more than a healer. She was a friend and a hero. When all the injured were safe, Tom started the engines again. The rescue ship moved carefully out of the asteroid field. The journey back to the outpost was slow but steady. Zara stayed close to the injured crew, keeping them calm and comfortable. Tom kept an eye on the ship's controls, ready for any danger. At last, the outpost came into view. The ship docked safely. The crew members were carried inside the medical bay for more care. The outpost doctor thanked Zara and Tom for their quick work. Later, Tom and Zara sat together outside the medical bay. The sky was full of stars. Tom looked at Zara and said, "You saved many lives today." Zara smiled shyly. "We saved many lives together." Tom took a deep breath and said, "You are beautiful in any galaxy." Zara's cheeks glowed softly. She could not hide her smile. For the first time, she felt that words were enough to show what was in her heart. Tom reached out and took Zara's hand gently. They sat together quietly, feeling the warmth between them. The night was peaceful. The outpost was safe again. Tom and Zara knew that their bond was growing stronger together. They could face any challenge the universe sent their way. The outpost was peaceful once again. Days had passed since the last rescue mission. Tom's leg was almost fully healed now, and he moved easily through the halls. Zara worked in the medical bay, helping with small injuries and checking supplies. Their days were calm, but both knew that space was full of surprises. One afternoon, as the sun cast long shadows over the outpost, the control room received an unusual message. The signal was weak, but clear. A small ship was approaching. It was unregistered, and its origin was unknown. The commander called Tom and Zara to the control room. "We need to prepare," the commander said. "We do not know if this ship is friendly or dangerous." Tom felt a familiar rush of excitement and concern. Zara's eyes were calm but alert. Together, they walked to the control room, ready for whatever came. The ship slowly docked at the outpost. Tom and Zara waited near the entrance to greet the visitor. The air was tense but hopeful. The airlock hissed open, and a figure stepped inside. It was a woman, tall and graceful, with silver hair that shimmered under the lights. Her eyes were deep blue, calm but filled with wisdom. She smiled softly and said, "I'm Nira, a traveler from the distant star system called Eldra." Tom and Zara looked at each other. This was a new world, a new friend. Nira spoke gently. "I come seeking help. My people face a great danger. Our planet is losing its light. We need healers and friends." Zara's eyes widened. She felt a deep connection with Nira's words. Healing was her gift, and she wanted to help. Tom stepped forward. "You are welcome here," he said. "We will do what we can." Nira nodded with gratitude. She explained that Eldra was a beautiful planet, full of light and life. But now a strange shadow was growing, making the land dark and cold. Zara asked, "Can we help with healing?" Nira smiled softly. "Yes, but the danger is bigger than we expect. We will need courage and strength." The outpost prepared for the journey to Eldra. Tom and Zara would go with Nira. They packed supplies and planned carefully. Before they left, Tom looked at Zara. "Are you ready?" Zara smiled. "With you, I'm always ready." The rescue ship lifted off, moving toward Eldra's shining star. The stars outside were bright, but the space ahead was unknown and full of challenge. As they approached Eldra, the planet's light was faint and fading. The beautiful forests and glowing cities were covered in shadows. The air was cold and still. Nira led them to the capital city, where the people waited with hope in their eyes. Zara worked quickly, using her healing light to help the sick and injured. Tom helped organize supplies and comfort those in fear. Together, they faced the dark shadows spreading across the land. They discovered it was caused by a strange energy that drained life from the planet. Nira explained that the energy came from a broken star core deep inside Eldra's mountains. The only way to save the planet was to repair the core. Tom looked at Zara. "We must go to the mountains." Zara nodded. Together, the journey was hard. Cold winds blew, and shadows moved like living things. But Tom, Zara, and Nira kept moving forward. Their hope stronger than fear. At the mountain's heart, they found the broken core. It pulsed weakly, sending out dark waves. Zara placed her hands gently on the core. Her healing light shone bright, fighting the darkness. Tom helped by using tools to repair the damaged parts. Nira supported them with her knowledge of the star's power. Slowly, the core began to shine. Light returned to Eldra's skies. The forest glowed, and warmth spread through the land. The people cheered. Their planet was saved. Tom and Zara felt a deep joy. They had faced danger and won, not alone, but together. That night, under Eldra's bright stars, Tom looked at Zara and said, "You are beautiful in any galaxy." Zara smiled and took his hand. "And you are brave in every world." The stars above seemed to shine just for them. The sun rose over the planet Eldra, painting the sky with soft pink and gold colors. The light that had once been lost now filled the land again. Trees glowed gently, and the air was warm and fresh. The people of Eldra gathered in the capital city to celebrate their new hope. Tom, Zara, and Nira stood together, watching the joyful faces around them. The journey to heal the broken star core had been hard, but their courage and care had brought light back to this distant world. Tom looked at Zara and smiled. She was tired but happy. Her healing light still glowed softly, showing how much energy she had given to help Eldra. Nira stepped forward and spoke to the crowd. Her voice was calm and strong. She thanked Tom and Zara for their bravery and kindness. "You are friends to Eldra," she said. "Together, we can build a future full of light and peace." The people cheered. Tom and Zara felt their hearts swell with pride. They knew their adventure was not just about saving a planet. It was about friendship, trust, and hope between different worlds. Later, as the crowd began to leave, Tom and Zara found a quiet place beneath a glowing tree. The soft light surrounded them like a gentle hug. Tom took Zara's hand in his own. "Zara," he said softly, "I never thought I would find someone so special in a galaxy so far from Earth." Zara smiled and squeezed his hand. "And I never thought I would meet someone who sees me for who I really am." They looked into each other's eyes. There was a deep understanding between them, a promise of something beautiful. Suddenly, message came from the outpost on Earth. The stars were calling them home. Tom and Zara knew their journey on Eldra was coming to an end. The next morning, they said goodbye to Nira and the people of Eldra. The planet was strong again, full of light and life. Nira promised to visit them on Earth one day. Tom and Zara boarded the rescue ship. The engines hummed softly as they left the glowing world behind. The stars outside shone brightly, welcoming them back. During the journey home, Tom and Zara talked about their future. They dreamed of traveling to new worlds, helping those in need, and learning more about the universe. Their friendship had grown into something deeper, something full of hope. When they arrived at the outpost near Earth, the crew greeted them with smiles and cheers. Tom's leg was fully healed, and Zara's healing light was stronger than ever. Life at the outpost returned to its busy rhythm, but Tom and Zara knew that their story was just beginning. They were no longer just a healer and a patient. They were partners, friends, and maybe something more. One evening, under Earth's blue sky filled with stars, Tom and Zara stood side by side. Tom looked at Zara and said, "No matter where we go, you will always be beautiful in my eyes." Zara smiled and replied, "And you will always be brave in mine." They watched the stars together, ready to face the future as one. The universe was wide and full of wonders, but together they could make any place feel like home.